So, welcome to the channel. My name is Jamie. I'm also known as Aim for the Feet in the fighting game community. If you've never been on my channel before, thanks for checking it out. If you have, this is a little different from what I've done in the past. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I think it's just time to do it. So, today, on the first episode, I will be interviewing Mr. Taxi. He's a local Southern Virginia player, which is also where I live. I've known him for quite some time, and he's actually starting to make a pretty decent name for himself in the Tekken scene. So if you like this, comment, tell me what we can do better, tell me why we suck, whatever, if you fucking hate it. But yeah, let's get on with the interview.
You can. You just have to listen better. You can. It's called being a monk, a Buddhist monk.
No, you really can't hear yourself when you're in real life. Headphones are awesome.
Oh, you mean like what you really sound like?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like hear like your inner spirit and soul. Like I thought we were talking cosmological here.
No, just
I thought we were getting into like the deeper spiritual meanings of life. Like I wish you could hear your soul all the time. And it's like, you can if you listen.
no.
Just don't listen hard enough.
No, I'm a surface person.
Okay.
You gotta hear that, hear those actual frequencies of audio.
See,
rolling
me, I
around in
just
your
cut
head.
everyone else out and I just listen to the inside. Because real world's scary. Let me just conquer my own demons first.
The real world is scary right now, man.
You're right.
I don't like it at all.
It's like murder hornets, coronavirus. You know, there was like a hailstorm like very recently, like very quickly. It was like hail, thunder, like 3 minutes, and then it's gone. There's nothing.
Yeah.
I think the universe is like sending us messages.
It's a shitty apocalypse is what it is.
I think it's like, it was like a choice. It's either going to be the end or the beginning of like the new, and I think it's the beginning of a new life. That's my spiritualness. I have no like supporting evidence, just my heart. How should we start? Hello, I am Mr. Taxi,
Yeah, this is Mr. Taxi,
Anna of the world.
Anna
what I
of the
say.
world. I've known him for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I know you?
We met when I was first starting as a Tekken player, and I was probably the worst player in the entire scene. And we went to your apartment with Vegeta and Juggle-sama, one of the older members of the Tekken Virginia scene.
Yeah.
And they invited me over. I'm pretty sure I lost everyone there, and I also lost my controller sync cable at your house,
Dang.
your apartment. But yep,
That was back in the day.
that must have been about 10 years ago, I'd say.
Easy.
Yeah, I'd say.
It was easy 10 years ago if those guys were still around
Yeah.
and still coming out and playing and stuff.
Yeah, when I first started, I was significantly worse than everyone. But yep.
Man. And we've traveled a bunch of times.
Yeah, we've been to what? How many tournaments now? I know you've paid for my trips to TFC consistently, and I won both of them.
That's true.
And I won both of them.
2 TFC wins.
You've taken me. Who else have you taken me to? Have you taken me to anything else?
We've gone to final round twice, right?
Yeah.
I think. Man.
Basically anything East Coast South, like anything Big E or Final Round related.
Yeah.
Shin Blanca. That's pretty much my scene.
So when did you go from Sova Scrub to competitive player?
Let's see. I think it was probably between the end of Tekken 6 and the beginning of Tekken Tag 2, right? I started traveling to all the Northern Virginia tournaments, and although the game at Tekken 6 was dying,
VA Tekken Rage.
yeah, VA Tekken Rage, even though the game was dying, because the game was dying, a lot of the good players, stopped coming, but there were players that were really strong that did show up consistently, like Nock, like Seiko, like Fighting GM, like Incognito at the time, right?
Big Word was still playing?
Yeah, not really.
Not really?
Not really.
It was already after he quit?
Yeah, so, fighting those players helped me get better a little bit, but it wasn't really like the breakthrough moment, right? I think for me, the breakthrough moment was Tekken Tag 2, when I beat Grimy Grizzly and Nock in the same tournament, and I won that TV, do you remember, in Northern Virginia? And then right after that, I went to NEC, right? And then I got top 4, I believe.
So NEC was the tournament where
That really changed things for me.
there was a couple of us, we were at my house, we were watching NEC because we didn't go, and you popped up in top 8.
Yeah.
And we were like, what the fuck?
I beat like everyone. Like my pool had Rai Rai, it had Seiko, it was basically all the heavy hitters from Virginia.
Yeah, it was the Virginia Death Pool.
Yeah, and I made it out alive, killed everyone, and then I had to fight NYC Fab, and I knew that Fab, he played Ana in DR, so I put that in my head, and basically whenever I wanted to go low with the full crouch mix-up, I went mid. Every time I wanted to go mid, I went low, and then he got hit by
So you
it.
just do the opposite of what you want?
Yeah, because I knew that we had like a wavelength together because we were both Ana players, so that's how I beat him. And then in top 8, I beat up Bloodhawk. I was in scrub killer mode, I beat him, and then I had to fight Fab again, and that's what really got me, because I was still in scrub killer mode from fighting Bloodhawk.
Did you lose to GM in that tournament?
No. I placed higher than GM, and he actually wrote an article about how Miharu was OP because no one knew her, even though she's literally Ling Xiaoyu.
She's worse Ling Xiaoyu.
She's the same exact character. She has 2 different moves.
Oh, man.
But at that tournament, I lost to OFDP and I lost to NYC Fab because at the time, throw breaking was considerably harder, and I didn't know how to break throws in Tag 2
Oh, yeah.
well. And then I lost to Fab because I was still in scrub killer mode.
Lost to Fab.
But after that, I took a kind of a decent break from the game because...
Yeah, you disappeared. Like, we were all like, oh, Taxi has arrived. He's, like, making top 8, and he's going to be a serious threat. I think we had a couple of us locally here were talking to Seiko, and he was like, yeah, Taxi's gotten really good, and he's going to be...
something.
And then gone. Like 3 years. Easy.
Yeah.
Like all the way to the next game.
I played like a little bit on and off. I wasn't like super into it because, I wanted to reach this goal in my life that like, it was for something. I was playing for recognition. I was playing to be noticed, and I reached it. So my passion just went away, and I wasn't really into it as much anymore because I was there, right? I was satisfied. And then, I still played the game on and off. I picked up a student. I picked up Christian, and I learned the game with him. I developed like online rivalry with speed kicks. I learned under Anakin, but that was just for learning. It wasn't like the tournament scene wasn't like what really mattered to me anymore because I was happy where, just getting 4th, that was big for me at the time.
I think your next tournament, like as far as majors go, we drove down to North Carolina for Fall Classic.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was.
I think I did take.
I think I took a. Oh, right. I also got into a relationship, which is like not good for Tekken, right?
Oh no.
Unless like you're settled and you got everything good going, but like it was a struggle. I had to move to Charlottesville, if you remember. I moved up north.
You didn't go to final round with us that year.
Yeah, I was supposed to. So it was just like a hard part in my life to be able to travel. Right, I didn't have a supportive family who believed in me. I didn't have a relationship. It was just me and my drive, and then anyone who wanted to support me, like you or Christian. So it was kind of hard to attend events. Of course, I was still a player, but my passion was there. But at the same time, it wasn't enough to get me motivated to go. Right, it was enough to keep me playing and keep me interested in learning. And then there was other things too, like at Tag 2. I played against speed kicks, and he went from someone I beat 50-0 to someone who like and then he like started playing with Anakin and learning under him, and then he started going even with me, and then he started beating me like 10-2, but I always won the first 2, like the tournament 2, right?
Oh no.
But yeah, I mean that rivalry and that image of him being better than me like really made me not want to play anymore because I felt like, oh man, this guy's gonna be better than me. He's the new me.
Oh man, I had an attitude problem with Tag 2. Like I played 6 pretty well and pretty consistently, and then Tag 2 there were so many young guys, like just like what you're saying.
Yeah,
they were young and they popped up out of nowhere, and I'd go to a tournament and I'd get beat by somebody I've never heard of.
I mean, it can still be like that today. It's because
especially with the internet.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna get to. It's like the internet allows you to share knowledge, allows you to improve and know what is good, what isn't good. And it's just our skill level is improving. That's why a lot of like older players struggle. Of course, there are some special talented players like maybe Jackie Tran or Aurario or even like Slips, who without a doubt in my heart that if they decided to come to one of these tournaments would wreck face.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the players weren't as talented as them, that that were just under them. They were significantly worse. No offense, like Foxfire, like those types of players.
You can't figure out the mix up, and there's no video on the mix up.
Yeah, there's no science.
So like you have to literally find that player and figure out what they're doing
Yeah, I mean,
and play
back
them enough to lose.
yeah, back then the game was more of an art form than it is now. Now it's more scientific, really.
Well, it is because it's all revealed. Like your frame data is real.
Hmm.
It's not like, oh, I think that's like 10 frames ish, maybe.
Yeah, and we're very like aware of the practice mode. Our practice mode functions way better. We can really practice against setups, and we can learn how to deal with options now. And then we share it. Twitter makes everything so accessible,
Yeah, Twitter, Discord.
way better than Tekken Zaibatsu, because you just retweet it, and then millions, thousands of people see it. However many.
Yeah,
per
and
second.
then making a video is so easy.
Hmm.
Like on my YouTube channel that I'm going to post this interview on, if you go and you dig into the depths of it, there's videos of matches from like 4 and 5.
You recording like hand
yeah,
recording.
recording with a camera, and that was a big deal back then.
Yeah, to get information to online like that. But now it's just like, well, I'm gonna set up my stream, and
Yeah, I'm going to stream for 8 hours, and now you have 8 hours of information on some players.
yeah, and I noticed that too as a player. Like people do study in tournament.
Have you gotten blown up because of that yet?
I've had players who tried to, but I adapted because I'm not an idiot.
I'm trying to remember there was somebody on the Damage Germany tournament last summer. We were watching him. He was so good, but it's like the guy streams all the time. I can't remember what the player's name is, but he streams all the time. And stuff that worked, like whatever the previous European tournament, he got like super far. He just got blown up in pools.
I think like the biggest example of that is Rangchu, honestly, right? He won.
Oh shit!
He won
yeah.
with Panda at the TWT, and then the next year he just did not perform as well because
He's-
everyone was so much more prepared.
He's so good, but he struggled to get
I
top
played
8.
him. I played him. He's a strong player. I definitely like. He's probably one of the best players I fought. Because I was in Pakistan and I was in Japan.
Yeah.
And I had a first to 10 with him. The score was 5-10. Same thing with Arslan. The score was 5-10 in their favor. So, I think those two, other than me, are like the best players I fought so far.
That's definitely some room to improve.
Mhm.
So let's backtrack a little bit and get to how you got to Pakistan and
Okay.
Japan.
Okay, so
So you had a sponsor like
in the skies.
Steve.
No, before that.
Oh yeah, before
Right,
that,
right.
before that.
So I also
So Skies was sponsoring you when I was still paying for you to go to tournaments.
Right. Yeah, they had a lot of players. They pretty much had the entire Tekken scene in the pocket, right? I just think that the reason it failed is that we didn't have good direction. We didn't have motivation,
There's too many players.
Yeah,
Like, how do you support like
everyone
30, 40 players?
without the right, without a proper amount of income and a good team of management to help, like
Yeah.
we didn't really have like someone to manage social media. We didn't have someone to give us a direction. So it was just kind of like a bunch of players that would go to tournaments and she'd help out as best she could. She paid for my travel sometimes.
Yeah,
She gave me a PS3 to practice on. But
that's pretty good.
But like, when you have like what 25, 30 players, you can't do that for everyone.
Yeah, you're gonna buy 30 players a PS3 and fly them out? Like,
Yeah.
how many times can you do
And
that
then
with no
also
income?
also there's like the aspect of jealousy, like if I was like, okay, no offense, but like Princess Ling was someone who was like spoiled by In the Skies, right? If I was the one being spoiled, bitch, I'd be out there too. I would be placing top 3 all the time. Or,
I don't know how spoiled he was. Like, she flew him out to one of the East Coast tournaments.
she flew him out to everything.
He slept on the floor in my hotel.
Okay, but he still went to everything. He went to
He got there. I
he-
guess he could have been sleeping on the street, but
I mean, at least he got there.
yeah.
So, there was some slight jealousy on my end in which, like, damn, if I had the opportunity, but I was a pretty reserved person and I didn't want to like ask for things, even though that's like what a sponsor's for.
Yeah, it's like, you're my sponsor. You should
And
be like,
you should be directing me, right?
yeah, like you should be telling me what tournaments I'm going to this year,
Mhm,
maybe.
mhm. Yeah. And so, I was with them until I found a new sponsor, really, just because like they offered me things and I didn't have to really provide much in return.
Yeah.
So I stayed with them. I placed pretty well at tournaments, even with them. Like I won the TFC one.
Yeah, yeah.
I went to final round. She paid for my hotel, and I think I got top 32. I was close to 16.
Yeah,
I-
you were in the top 32 at
Yeah,
that one.
I lost to Spirojin and I lost to Hobo Joe. So I lost to 2 Skies members already. So I lost to my teammates, who were strong players. And then I guess that's when Tekken Tag 2 ended, right?
Yeah.
Right. That. And then Tekken 7 happened, and then they didn't have Anna, so there was like no point.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I tried, right? I went to the next final round, or no, that was the final round that I tried.
Yeah.
And I didn't place high enough as a Xiaoyu player. So I just started picking up other
How
characters.
weird is that to not have your character in the game? Like,
It's
you're a known player for playing
one
that character.
Yeah. It's unlucky,
Yeah.
right? um, it was hard, because not only am I known for that character, but she's a niche character.
Yeah, she's totally different. There's no, like, palette swap or, like...
Even, like, there are characters who have some similarities, but, like, overall, there is no character like her, right? That has everything she has. I looked in many characters. I practiced with a lot of characters trying to find someone to replace her, but there was just no one that I
Really?
could really
Like,
attune with.
where do you go? Like, do you go Dragunov or Nina? Like...
Well, I tried Nina, right?
Yeah, you tried Nina.
So first I went Xiaoyu, right? Because she was my secondary.
Yeah,
right?
she was your tag partner.
She was my tag partner. So
But you didn't play her in tag 2. You played Anna, and then you brought Ling in for one mix-up.
She was my assist. She was my
Yeah.
no, she was my let's do AOP until I can get a launch, and I could bring Anna in. But Anna was definitely the core, right? Everyone knew that.
Yeah, 100%.
And then so I tried Xiaoyu in Tekken 7, and she was buffed. And the only time you really feel like an Anna player playing Xiaoyu is when she's in Rage, and you can do a 50-50.
Yeah.
But I felt like that wasn't good enough. So I was like, okay, let me try Nina. She's pretty similar to Anna. You got similar poke game. You got counter hits. You got frame advantage, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's who you played at Final Round.
No, I played Nina one time on stream, and then I felt like it was too laggy for her. So I went to Xiaoyu because it was easier. But, I played her a lot casually to get better, just because she's fun and she's very similar to Anna in terms of the neutral game. A little bit better, but doesn't have any of the hard 50-50s, right? And I was like, damn, I can't win without hard 50-50s. My neutral game isn't that good. So I picked up Eddie, right? When Eddie was available.
Yeah.
Because Eddie had hard 50-50s. He has relax. He has stuff like that.
Great backdash.
Yeah, so I tried that, and, I was able to beat some people, but it's not like he's one of my characters that I'm super duper confident in. And then I picked up, who else? I picked up Katarina a little bit.
Yeah, you played her. I think you played Chloe for like a hot minute.
Yeah, I played Asuka. Basically, I was just going through the motions, right? Trying to find Anna. And then Anna came out, right?
Yeah, and then you got with Steve.
Yeah, like pretty much the same week, right?
DPS,
like, right after. Like
same weekend. He's like, yeah, I'm going to start sponsoring players again.
Yeah, let's talk
Taxi,
about how that
Seiko.
happened. So even how I got in the Skies, because Seiko was actually originally part of the Skies, right? I don't know if you guys know Seiko.
I didn't know that.
He's my mentor in Tekken, one of my mentors. Very solid player. And, I talked to him a lot. And he always believed in me, like since the moment I met him. And when he was in Skies, he was like, you guys should get Taxi. Taxi's really good. That's how I got in Skies. And then when Steven Bjornis, Nordic Ninja, right?
Yeah, Nordic Ninja.
That's his name? And then
he was the guys that ran We Hit Buttons and VA Tekken Rage.
Yeah. So him and Seiko were starting DPS, and they were talking about players they should pick up. And then Anna came out, and as soon as Anna came out, they texted me and they were like, "We want to pick you up." They were a great sponsor. He pretty much paid for all of my travel. We made it pretty affordable. We used like the train stations, shit like that. So
he'd pay for you to get a train ticket up there to do.
He pretty much paid for everything. I didn't have to pay anything out of pocket.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and his goal as a sponsor wasn't even to like start a company of an esports company. His goal was to just have people he believed in be able to make a presence so that a real sponsor could pick them up.
Yeah.
And so that actually happened, right?
Yeah.
So I placed well with the DPS for a while. I got various top 8s, really top 5s, right? At NEC, ECT, Winter Ball, basically all the big E events.
Where did you end up at Final Round that year?
That year, I got 7th.
7th, that's right. So top 8 Final Round.
Yeah, I got top 8 at Final Round. I beat Cody Vu. I beat, who else did I beat? Man, Big Boy. I beat a lot of players. I beat, who should I beat at that tournament? Basically, I went through a gauntlet. That's all I remember.
Yeah, that Final Round was no slouch. And Shadow was playing crazy. Junior was playing crazy.
Yeah, I had to go through a gauntlet at that
Trungy was playing like a god that year.
Like, yeah, oh my god. Trungy in grand finals. Until he ran out of steam, oh my god, he was so good.
Yeah, it's so weird. That guy came out of nowhere too. Kind of like you. He's about that same like end of Tag 2.
Well, Chungy's always been kind of known.
Yeah.
Like in the South, like as a low-key killer, as like a Steve. But he's always been outshined by players like Anakin, who kept them like a little bit lower than him.
Yeah, he was always that guy that somebody would say like, oh yeah, he's in your pool and we all know who he is, but you could probably beat him.
Yeah. I'd say that. I'd say that. I mean, he's very good, and usually people say that and they're wrong and they lose to him.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
they never-
exactly.
they think
That
they think
happened to me probably twice in 6. Like, he's good.
Yeah, great player, great player.
But that final round, he was incredible.
Yeah, I've never seen an American player use that level of aggressive movement in a grand finals, right? Like, so well. And then Shadow won that tournament.
Yeah, Shadows who took you out ultimately, right?
No, Junior, his brother,
Junior,
his brother
that's
took
right.
me out. Ironically, I rage quitted on his brother online because he'd always sweep me. He'd always sweep me, and I'd be like, "Bitch, I can block that offline." And then he beat me by sweeping me.
Oh no!
And I was like, "Oh, I didn't actually block it, but I could have. I was just nervous. I can still block it. Test me."
So DPS led to 7 cities.
Yes, absolutely. So how I actually met Seven Cities was while I think I was actually still in the skies when I first met Seven Cities, right?
Okay.
So it was maybe about 5-6 years ago, 4, 5, 6 years ago. I won a tournament from them that they held locally in a bar, like their very first tournament. It was like $500 that I won.
Oh wow!
And funnily enough, when I was at the tournament, it had like a DJ, it had like smoke.
Yeah,
was
they were
weird.
trying to figure out the whole esports vibe,
yeah,
and it was just
It was
weird.
weird. I came in there and I was texting a boy I was flirting with. I was texting him. I was like, "This place is lame, but I'm about to win this money." And so I won the tournament pretty free. And then I think from there, they kept their eye on me. I won another tournament maybe 4 years later, and they actually saw me while I was working at my job on Krispy Kreme occasionally because they love donuts. And I would give them free donuts from Krispy Kreme because that's a horrible place to work.
Oh no!
And yeah, so they would always, they would give me their card. They'd be like, "Oh, I want you to, I want to sponsor you. I want to see what, if you can work for us, if you could coach for us." And I was still sponsored by DPS at the time, and I was happy. I was like, they pay for everything. So I didn't want to lose DPS. But I went over there and I was like, "Oh, you guys want me to coach?" So they started paying me as a coach to teach some of the kids there, the fundamentals of Tekken, how to get better. So I taught them how to backdash, the very basic stuff.
That's when they had the lounge.
Yeah, when they had the lounge. When the lounge first opened up.
Okay.
So like a year ago, right? That's when
Gotcha.
I met them. And wait, where was I at? So they paid for me to teach them, and then I was going through a relationship breakup, and I had nowhere to stay. And I remember one time they told me that if I ever needed anything to let them know. And I was like, "Well, I ain't got nowhere to stay, so I need something." So I called them and told them everything about what was happening, about I didn't have anywhere to stay. And they basically they took me in for like a week. It was like right before CEO. I was stressed out, and then I like had nothing. Like I thought, like I had nothing. I was like, "There's no point in anything." I was gonna play like it was my last.
Yeah. Did
play.
you go to CEO for them or for DPS?
For both.
For both.
Right.
Okay.
So they split it. They split the cost initially, right?
Mhm.
And then so I went there and I was going through the breakup and I just didn't really give a fuck about anything. So I was just playing like nothing mattered. And then at that tournament, I beat I beat Sherdell from the UK, right? And then and then I lost to Knee, right?
Yeah.
So after pools, I lost to Knee, right? And then after that, I had to fight I think it was some people, and then I had to fight Shadow, right?
Yeah.
And then I beat Shadow convincingly. And then after that, I had to fight Junding, right?
Yeah. I remember watching that.
And then I beat Junding convincingly, right? And then after that, I was one match away from top 8, and then I lost to Book. I lost the Book. And I didn't understand the Jin matchup very well, but from that, my sponsor, Seven Cities, were super confident, right? They were like, "Wow, this is where he's at right now." And so they took me in and they were like, "Okay, we're going to provide you with housing. We'll figure out how to make it work." And yeah, so I became their like full-time sponsor player, gaming full-time. I mean, I still had a job, but after a while, I just got tired of it. I was like, I just wanted to check in. So they let me quit my job. And then, yeah.
So you're just coaching at the
dojo a little bit here and there, but mostly just representing them at tournaments. And then let's see. Then there was another tournament like right after that I went to. Oh, it was Evo, right? They were confident enough to send me to Evo, and it was a lot of stress. It was my very first Evo, so I didn't perform as well because I was super nervous. Right? It was my first Evo.
Yeah.
And then
it's a huge tournament,
and also the event isn't really like catered to players, like in terms of accessibility, right? Like you have to go through the Mandalay Bay Hall. You got to go through like 2 casinos and a mall, basically.
Yeah.
It's like a 30-minute walk, and it's hot as fuck in Vegas, right? So it was just not a pleasant experience. And so, and I was nervous, and it was huge. So I didn't perform that well. It was my first one. And then after that, we got back, and let's see, what was the next tournament that I went to? I think it was.
That's kind of where DPS disappears, right?
Yeah, because we wanted to make it work, but Steven had a baby coming on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way.
And then Seven Cities picked up Seiko also, who was their other player.
Yeah. So, basically, DPS accomplished what it wanted to, right? It wanted to support the players enough that they can get known so that a real sponsor could pick them up.
Yeah.
So after Evo, I didn't place that well. And then I went to Summer Jam, and I think I got like 16th or 9th or something like that.
Yeah, and that's when you guys started plotting the Afghanistan trip.
Right, because they
Or
weren't
Pakistan.
right. They weren't satisfied with my performance, and they wanted to, push me in a direction where I could improve. And with Arsalan winning that tournament, and then Honey, and I think let's see, who was the other Akuma player that was at the Japan Tokyo Masters?
Oh, the Tokyo Masters
It was Honey, and was it Bilal?
Yeah, no, Bilal plays Brian.
He plays Akuma too, but there was another Akuma player. It was Honey and someone else. I forgot his name.
Yeah, there's another one.
Sorry, guy.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, guy. But at any rate, so he got really into Pakistan, trying to get more information about the scene, trying to, get some roots, some connections there. And eventually, I was convinced, okay, I'll do it. I'll go to Pakistan. And the manager in Pakistan was like, oh, it shouldn't be for just a short amount of time. It should be a long time. It should be like 2 months
Dang.
for practice. And
The manager of what?
so we had like a division in Pakistan, the manager of the Pakistan division. So I stayed over there for 2 months, and I didn't really it wasn't really like super duper put together, because honestly, the country isn't super duper put together.
Yeah, you're traveling to a foreign country with like no point of contact.
Right,
no
and
tour manager.
it's just me,
You're just like getting off the plane and hoping that
yeah,
everyone
I
does
was,
what they say
yeah,
they're gonna
I
do.
was in people's hands, I was Mr. Taxi,
Yeah.
just foreigner, just Tekken player. And it was like haphazard with like the level of what they were doing. But after about a month, I was able to settle into my own apartment. Shout outs to Bawakar Hadir for letting me like crash at his house for a month until I could get my own place. I met a lot of great, amazing
That's a
people
solid.
there. Yeah, and then once I got my own place, it was in walking distance of Maniac's Gaming Arcade. And so pretty much every morning I'd walk inside. I'd play
It's where all the big Pakistan guys play.
I'd play a couple hours of Tekken, and then I'd just be chill. And then I would do that every day.
Nice.
Yeah, I met people like Atif Ali, Yu-Gi-Oh, right? So those are the 2 Seven Cities members. I met a couple other people that were also Seven Cities at the time, but we've parted ways since then. I made a lot of good friends, like Farzine, which was probably like the strongest Akuma I fought.
Nice.
I fought against Arsalan. Pretty much, Pakistan, I fought a lot of players.
So who's the best in Pakistan? Your opinion?
Definitely Arsalan.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, probably definitely Arsalan. And then, in my opinion, second place, Farzine.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I've never seen anyone like be able to play a solid versus Arslan as Farzine has. Like as like Tekken skill. As Tekken skill goes with Akuma, he's the guy, right? I think Honey is more of like Akuma, right?
Okay.
Farzine's like Tekken plus Akuma.
So pick the top tier and play the game
well.
the best.
Yeah, play Tekken smart.
Okay. So how did you end up in fucking Japan?
Okay. So basically, the college that Seven Cities and I work with, Brian and Stratton College.
Okay.
They saw an opportunity in sending a player to Evo Japan to represent them. Right. And my sponsors asked me like, "Oh, do you think you're ready?" Stuff like that. And I was like, "No, I was planned to be in Pakistan for 2 months. I'm not supposed to go anywhere. I'm here to train."
Yeah.
And I was like, "But maybe we can send the John, right? We wanted to pick him up at a time."
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe you can send the John. But unfortunately, we weren't able to come to like a decision on, how the sponsorship would work out. So they were just like, okay, we'll just send Mr. Taxi.
Damn.
But the thing about that was that it was so short notice that I couldn't even like register. Like I didn't even register. I had to borrow other people's names
Yeah.
to be able to compete. And then I think I made it to top 100 under the name of, I don't even remember the name, but I made it to top 100. I beat everyone except for Chikarin. Not
Yeah,
Chikarin.
and you're supposed to play Jemmy,
I was
right?
supposed to fight Book. I mean, yeah, I was supposed to fight the Book, Mr. Naps. He is the Book, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I was supposed to fight him, but then the TO came up to me and was like, "So we know that your flight was, came in just as the tournament match started, and we know, you can't really do this. Can't be someone else." They basically said that, it would just be smarter if I
Because
dropped out.
you were playing under one of your teammates' names that couldn't make the tournament, basically.
It was a friend from Pakistan. It was a
Okay.
friend from Pakistan. Yeah, because a lot of the Pakistani players couldn't make it due to Japan's strict travel
Oh,
regulations.
yeah, because the visas got crazy.
Yeah.
And then your visa got fucked up.
Yeah, my visa did. So I even had to I was supposed to go on a plane to Japan, and then they were like, "Oh, you overstayed, so you got to pay $50." And I was like, "Okay, that's cool. I have a card." And they were like, "We don't have credit card machines here." In the Pakistan airport, the main Pakistan Lahore airport, we don't have a credit card machine here. I'm like, "What? You don't even take card?" I'm like, "Nope, they run on strict currency, like cash."
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's where they are in their life. So then I called my sponsors, and they stayed up all night, trying to fix everything.
Trying to figure out how to get you cash to
Yeah.
get not a hostage in the airport.
Yeah, and so then I think it was the next day I was able to go on my trip to on the plane, and then on that plane, they fixed my visa, but the visa said no return. So by the time I noticed, it was too late, and I tried to talk to the guy at the plane, and I was like, "There's a mistake here. I'm supposed to come back," and they were like, "There's no mistake. You just can't come back. You can decide what you want to do."
We're done with you.
And I was like, "Okay, so I have two choices. I can go to Japan, right? And I can try my best to make it all work, or I could stay here and all this will be for nothing." And I was like, "Okay, well, I think my sponsors want me to go." That was the decision I made.
Like
So-
on the spot.
Yeah, on the spot. It was my choice. This was the only thing I could do. So I was like, "All right." So I went with it. Then I made it to Japan. I had no contact with anyone. Arsalan said I could room with him, but then he decided to room with his friend, so that flaked out. So I had nowhere to stay,
Damn.
and I missed the tournament. But at least I played till top 100.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, the player that I lost to was Churi, not Chikarin.
Okay.
Churi. He's a guy with an afro, plays Shaheen, very, very good player.
Yeah. I've seen him.
Yeah, crazy hair. But I just wanted to get that out there. But yeah, I played till top 100, and then after that, we had to figure out how I'm supposed to get back from Japan to wherever, right? So we tried to go back to Pakistan, but like I said, they said I couldn't come back.
Yeah, because
So-
you had a ticket to go back.
Yeah, but the government was like, "No, you can't," because my visa didn't work that way.
Huh.
So, then my sponsors was trying to work with the ticket company so that I'd be able to come to America. So I had to stay in Japan for 2 weeks.
Which is cool.
It was amazing, and thankfully I was able to find people to let me room with them and stuff like that. Help me with not dying. Once I was able to make sure that I wasn't dying, I had a great time. I played in the Red Bull tournament that they had
Yeah.
twice. I had various first attends thanks to Kuro.
You got to
Who-
play Rangchu.
Yeah, I got to play Rangchu. I got to play Kuro 10 from Sweden. He's been in Japan for 2 years
Oh, that's
as,
sick.
as a foreign exchange student or something like that. I think he's French, not Swedish.
Uh-huh.
And then I also got to play the best League player there named Kay. I got to play who else? I got to play Pinya, and he won Master Cup. Completely unsponsored, great Master Raven player. I fought
Wow.
Jotaro, beat him in a first 10. That day that I had 6 first attempts in a row, I think I won 5 of them and only lost 1. And I was on fire that day.
That's amazing. So after being the world traveler, what's the difference in the different Tekken scenes? Because you've played in the States, you've played in Pakistan, you've gotten to play the Europeans a bit.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Japan plus the Koreans travel here, so we get to see their stuff pretty.
So definitely, I think let's just break down my order of Tekken scenes, right? So
Okay.
I think number 1 scene is Korea. I think it's because they have the best application of movement and
Mhm.
knowledge, right? They play very, very safe. They play the long game. They don't get too carried away. They fundamentally play very, very well, right? It's all movement, all smart safety decisions. It's the most optimal way to play chess. right?
Yeah.
And then next would be Pakistan, I'd say, because they're the most ready to punish you for a mistake, right? They're although they don't play as conservative or as methodical or on point as Koreans, they're the ones that you're always afraid to make a single mistake because it could be the end of the match for you. Right?
Yeah,
even if you have 100% life.
You put a 14 or 15 frame move on their block, and they're like, "No, that's my damage."
Right. And then also they play characters like Akuma, like Geese, right? They focus on those top tier characters where if you make one mistake, they'll kill you for it, right?
Yeah.
But I think overall, they're like a super aggressive playstyle. They're 50-50. They have no fear, right? They do have good movement, but not at the level of Koreans. They're more focused on the aspect of, aggression, right? And so I think that's what gave me an edge versus a lot of their players is that, I'm naturally an aggressive player myself.
Yeah, that's kind of your style.
And then not only that, I'd say that, the Virginia scene is pretty aggressive in itself, right? We have players like Waylon and Vegeta, Syndromer, right? Who are very offensive myself.
They just do shit.
Right? They're very offensive. They know how to be aggressive. They know how to attack, right? So I felt like because of that, I had a very good, strong edge.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd say under Pakistan, it would probably be Japan. They're like character specialists, I'd say. They like study their character and they like know their character like in and out. And then they have a little bit of the Korean movement in them, and they have they don't get too carried away with the offense, but they have their character, their specific character on point.
So
right?
They're kind of the hybrid.
Yeah, they're kind of a hybrid, a little bit more focused on being a specialist, right? Doing all the innate tricks and all the specific techniques of that character.
Yeah.
And then I'd say underneath Japan would probably be America.
Oh.
Right? And by probably, I mean definitely.
We're still better than Europe?
100%.
Yeah.
Europe's garbage.
Oh, no.
So
shots fired.
As I was saying, so Americans, like, we have a large majority of trash players. That's true. Like,
we do.
Like 90% of players are trash. But our 10% that are good are way better than European players because we have like a stronger understanding of fundamentals than them. Right? Like players like Shadow, like Cuddle Core, like Speed Kicks, right? Super solid defensive gameplay, right? And in-depth knowledge of risk reward, how to play the long game, right? So of course there are other players that are more niche like myself or like I don't know, like the John Hammer, right? Who are more like aggressive, right? We have the aggressive players, but probably our strongest players are going to be players like Anakin, right? The defensive ones.
Yeah, backdash, punish you.
Right. Like we have that on lock. And then I played against the European players. And in my experience, they are a little bit too aggressive.
Yeah, their style is weird. Like almost every European player that places top 8, they almost try to punish forward movement. It's like they play online too much or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think what it is that their scene doesn't value defense as much, right? And so because of that, it's kind of just like a brawl fest.
Yeah.
And then, there are some players there that have really good defense, and then they're the ones that win because they're just different.
Yeah.
But overall, I think they're definitely like a mind game counter hit with only like slight spacing, right?
Yeah.
Their spacing focus isn't defensive spacing. It's more like
it's where can I put my next move on the screen at?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, are they going to walk into me right now so I can Asuka back through them type of deal.
True. So what's next?
What's next?
Where are you headed?
So, well, I'm actually going to college soon as an esports player for Bryan and Stratton College.
What's the degree?
I'm going to be, so I'm getting an associate's in social media marketing.
Okay.
Which is perfect for me.
That's very cool.
And then after that, I'm going to get a bachelor's in business. Right?
Nice.
So I'm probably going to be moving up in the 7 cities diplomacy area.
Okay.
Tournament scene, we're just waiting for COVID to end.
I know.
Honestly.
It's really weird. The whole purpose of doing this whole thing is kind of just to kill time during COVID.
But we do have plans. 7 cities does have plans to bring in Pakistani players still. We still have plans, to import and to grow. Tournament scene, just whenever COVID's done happening, I'll probably be at all the TWT. I want to travel to Korea. I want to travel back to Japan. I want to go back to Pakistan. I want to go back to the 3 main hubs. Remember the top 3 I talked about? Because I'm in number 4 already, America. Why would I ever go to EU?
We're number 4.
But, maybe I do see myself going into like Amsterdam, other EU scenes.
Yeah.
Just, not specifically for Tekken, just to enjoy life. And then I'll be like, oh, well, there's Tekken players here. Maybe I can document
have some good tournaments, like Damage Germany is pretty awesome.
And then one of my favorite tournaments is Ultimate Tournament.
Yeah.
I don't think they do it as much anymore. It was a Paris tournament.
Okay. That would be pretty cool.
My goals are to like travel around the world and just to play Tekken and live my celebrity lifestyle.
Play more. Do you have any sponsors you need to tack in
Oh
there?
yeah, definitely.
Plug.
So I definitely have a sponsor. So definitely check out GamerGoo. So they are a antiperspirant hand lotion. So like, let's say you struggle with doing Ana QCF1 because your hands are slippery, right? You need to get those double elbow combos, right? Definitely get GamerGoo. I'm gonna try it on right now, right here. Let's see if you can listen to this, the ASMR right now. I can't even open it.
You could wear. There's a couple players that wear gloves.
Yeah, but why wear gloves when you could get GamerGoo, right? Non-stick action, and it's great. It smells great. This one's orange flavor. I'm sorry, orange scented. I like Sakura Blossom because I'm a beautiful flower. But yeah,
That's cool. And then the college sponsors you guys, right?
absolutely.
As a company.
Yes. So
Pretty
we
neat.
have a partnership together, and then also a lot of the Seven Cities players go to college and double represent.
At Brian Stratton.
Yeah, for instance, Black Yoshi, the Smash player, he does that. I'm gonna start doing that soon. There's other players as well.
That's cool. So you have your degree and then continue to play and practice and
Mhm.
travel and make
Live it
things
up,
cool.
right? Live it up. It's my passion. What else am I up to? I started making content on YouTube. Definitely check out my YouTube. Just Google 7CG Mr. Taxi. You'll see my stuff. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, everything, just the whole 9 yards. I started a new series called The Spirituality of Tekken, where I get really zen and I try to understand the philosophies of Tekken, concepts that
Yeah, I
most
watched
people don't think
your
about.
first episode. It was pretty good.
Yeah. I think the next episode I'm gonna do is gonna be about punishment and like why are you playing? Not punishment per se, but like what motivates you to play, right? And it's my belief that it comes from two things, right? Pain or pleasure, like everything else in the world, right? So you run from the pain of being punished, and you love the pleasure of punishing your opponent, right, under your control.
Nice.
So I'm gonna probably investigate and explore my understanding of why people play Tekken
Cool.
as my next video. I'm also working on montages actively. You can check out my Anna of the World highlight reel. Super cool. But yeah,
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on.
awesome. Thank you.
If anybody enjoyed this and wants to continue to check out future episodes, YouTube / Aim for the Feet, and you can follow me at Aim for the Feet on goddamn near everything. Later, man.
Peace.